Hey besties and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be talking about the most disappointing comebacks this year. Not all of these are bad, but just disappointing. Please remember that this is just my opinion. Now, let's get started with the video. I feel like 2021 was such an amazing year for their discography, and I think that year showed that they can be versatile and pull it off. Even though they only had Talk That Talk as a comeback last year, I loved it, and although the mini album wasn't their best, I was still looking forward to what they'd release next. Then this came out. Don't get me wrong, it's nowhere near a bad song and there's many parts of it that I enjoy, but throughout the song, something just felt off. I know Twice has been on this 80s synth-pop influenced sound since late 2020, this song just didn't feel right. It didn't feel like Twice to me. Like I said before, they've done a great job showing that they can be mature or try something different and still make music that fits them, but it just felt so forgettable. I probably listened to this song like 2 times after it was released, then completely forgot about it. The verses fell very flat to me, and that rap near the end is what made me disappointed. Like I knew that their rapping skills are weak, but that part just felt so awkward and forced. Even though the chorus and choreography is catchy, it still just felt very lackluster, and that whole t-shirt situation that made me forget about the actual song even more. I honestly feel like this type of sound isn't for them. Like it all can still be mature and make music that eats. I mean, Espresso is a perfect example. I hope that this was just a one-time thing and they come back with a fuller sound that's more of their style, because this was kind of disappointing. Although Jennie's solo isn't the best solo debut, I really liked that song. Rose's was very questionable and just not good. Lisa's was okay. So when I heard that Jisoo was finally gonna get her solo, I was hoping that it would be better, but I was very disappointed. I didn't expect anything too powerful or bold, and I actually liked how they gave her an elegant yet simple concept, but the only thing I actually liked about it was the visuals. She has a really pretty voice and so much potential, but there's a lot of factors from this comeback that don't fully showcase that, mainly being the song. I feel like she's the member where people only really talk about her visuals, but not really her talents, so this solo could have been a great way to prove those talents, but it didn't come through unfortunately. The song is very simple, almost a little too simple, with the typical verses, an inclining pre-chorus that sounds pretty, then the anti-drop in the chorus that literally does nothing for the song. I understand that not all songs have to be full of different elements and have a bunch of high notes to be good, because there's many simple or minimalistic songs that I love, but the minimalism wasn't portrayed right in this particular song. It just felt like they didn't know what to give her for a solo and decided on the most basic type of song. Like I wanted so much more for her. Even if it just had a slightly better chorus, I'd like it, but I think I'm even more disappointed at the fact that after years, YG still refuses to mix things up a bit and can't comprehend that the same formula doesn't always work. It's not the worst solo debut, but it's just boring and could have been so much better.
Cherry Coke. Cherry Coke. Cherry Coke. Cherry Coke.
When I heard that she would also have a solo debut, I was pretty happy since she's one of my favorite CLC members and I think has the most soloist potential out of all of them. But since she can sing pretty well along with her great rapping skills, I was wondering what she would do. I was expecting something a little bubblegum pop with a bit of edge similar to Barbie, or the complete opposite and have stylish badass concept, but I was wrong either way. Even though I had a feeling I might not like it in the beginning, I tried to be open-minded, but then that chorus hit. The verses themselves weren't that great, but the chorus was even worse. For it to have an empty chorus, the beat isn't even that good. If this was a B-side I probably wouldn't care that much, but the fact that this is her debut is crazy to me. Like, I was looking forward to her debut so much and she has so much talent that's not even being showed properly, especially since she's not as well known unless you know CLC. So I feel like it was such a bad decision to give the song to her, and there was a lot of wasted potential that could have made her more successful and show her talents more. They were on a 2-year hiatus. People started to forget about them, and disbandment rumors were being thrown. So I thought that they'd come back hungry and ready to prove that they're the same girls that were serving with bonbon chocolate and la-di-da. But then they released this. First was seen as a flop, and although I liked Pirate, nobody really cared about it. So you'd think this would be the perfect opportunity to release a song that will get people's attention again in a good way. But people either talked shit about it or ignored it. I really wanted the song to match up with the title, but unfortunately, this did not slay to me. This feels like such a dated girl crush song with a typical formula. Yeah, the pre-chorus was nice as usual and I did like the ending of the song, but overall, it just felt stale and added nothing to their discography or anything in general. I really hope that their next comeback they actually try something different, because people are starting to forget about them.
I'm great because I'm grateful. I'm good, I'm great.
Out of all the songs listed here, this is one that I actually enjoy sometimes, but it was still disappointing to me. This song isn't really that far off from his style and overall brand, but when you compare it to his other releases like Bad Love, Killer, and Gasoline that are more dramatic with a lot of synths and power, it feels boring. Even his more simple songs like Wanna Be are better because it had more depth and felt more full. Meanwhile, this song felt a bit flat. Now the chorus is very catchy and it sometimes whenever I hear it, but that's the only thing I like about it. There's nothing really wrong about the song, but it's just boring to me, and although I like that he tried something different to let people know he doesn't only release retro songs, I wish he could have added more style or fullness to it at least. I did really like the album and not trying to be one of those people, but Cool As was so much better and had the potential to be the title track. It's not a bad song, just boring and kind of forgettable.
Danger, gotta get to know ya. Mr. Stranger, running into danger, gotta get to know ya. Mr. Stranger, wanna be an angel, gotta get to know ya.
When I saw that she was having a comeback that had a horror concept, oh, I was so excited. I feel like she's so creative and always does a unique twist to any concept, especially the creepy concepts. I also just felt like the song would be amazing since most of her darker songs are my favorite. I was pretty optimistic in the beginning, and even though that first beat switch was random, I think it was a nice twist until that chorus came up. There was a lot of things wrong with it, but I think her singing the same phrase over and over without any change or melody or progression was what really got on my nerves. Like that chorus did absolutely nothing besides make it worse. Then there wasn't even any smooth transition to the next verse, and it was just this constant cycle straightforward beat changes that didn't really fit or make the song better. I feel like the transitions weren't even there to begin and that the beat changes were so choppy. It's like there were different songs were being interrupted by each other. I think if she just would have had better transitions, a more dark instrumental behind it, and a full chorus that wasn't repetitive, then I think I would have liked it or even loved it. The music video was amazing and the 2 B-sides were great as well, especially Call My Name. But I just feel like there was too much yet not enough going on. I appreciate her for trying something different, but this was kind of a hot mess. Hopefully whenever she has her next comeback, it can be something that would be different yet amazing. Honestly, I feel like this whole comeback was just a big dumpster fire. Don't get me wrong, the song itself wasn't terrible or anything, but with the controversy and everything, I feel like it took away from the actual comeback. Even though I feel like the scandal wasn't even really that bad and it was being blown out of proportion, I do think it was handled terribly by the company and they should have been smarter with the decisions in the music video, knowing that it could either be a copyright issue or people would take it the wrong way, which they did. Like, I just think saying Hate and Olivia Rodrigo's last name was a bit unnecessary. Like girl, it could have been called something else, especially when the lyrics already describe the song pretty well. Anyways, the song itself honestly isn't that good to me either. Like, I can understand why other people may like it, but it just feels like another version of her other releases besides Love War. Like, the concept is nice and I like how she already has this type of style, but I think it could become too repetitive since there's not much going on in the song anyways. Besides the chaotic scandal, I completely forgot about the song and it just feels lackluster to me.
하지 말고 back it up yeah I said 벗어 네 맘 따위 알고 싶지 않지 yeah 여기까진 걸 뻔한 소린 걸.
At first, I feel like this could have been a comeback by them that I would really like since I was liking the funky intro, but it became some simple and boring. Like, we could have had a good ass new jack swing or funky type of song that had a lot of groove to it. I think the mature concept really suits them, but I'm not feeling the mature and funky vibes. I'm feeling more of a rejected Ariana Grande song from 2015 and not in a good way. Like this reminds me of when a lot of artists were incorporating saxophones in their songs on an empty ass chorus because they thought it would make up for the boring verses. I feel like their releases are always an almost hit, like it has a lot of potential to be great, but then there's a part of the song that makes it boring and they're holding back too much. This song definitely had some good parts, but the overall song felt very forgettable. To be honest, I haven't been into a Stray Kids song since Thunderous, but I really haven't loved their songs since Backdoor, and their recent songs just haven't been doing anything for me. I feel like with how popular God's Menu became, they started to replicate the same formula for their songs but just slightly different. This song especially does nothing for me and just feels like your typical 4th gen boy group noisy music. There's no part of the song that I can even get into because it's just boring and repetitive. I know that they're capable of releasing creative music that's innovative and good, so I just don't know why they're only themselves to this type of music.
Chasing that feeling, chasing that feeling, chasing that feeling.
When they came back with Sugar Rush Ride, I was excited since it was a magical or fantasy concept, so I thought that would mean that they would go back to their versatile magic concept for this comeback as well, but I was so wrong. It still had some magical aspects with them having powers, but it was more like a combination of Sugar Rush Ride and I Know I Love You concept-wise, and that's a really cool concept. But it just didn't really show much in the music video or in the actual song. The music video had some really cool elements, but I guess I'm just so used to the beautiful cinematography in their other music videos that this one felt like a bit of a letdown. The song itself wasn't bad at all and it actually grew on me more, but it felt kind of dull and disappointing to me. The only thing I really liked about it was the whole pre-chorus to chorus part, but the rest was a bit boring and I felt like the song relied on the instrumental a lot. Honestly, I feel like it mainly lacked that type of charm that TXT usually brings to their music. Even though this did grow on me and I enjoyed some of the B-sides, this comeback just felt like it was missing something. And that's the end of the video. I hope you all enjoyed. Please like and subscribe if you'd want, and have a good day. Bye besties.